Okay, what's up? Just wanted to sort of come on and talk about the Resident Evil Netflix getting cancelled. Um, so this came out about 40 days ago. It wasn't received well at all by critics and fans. I do understand that there are people out there that do enjoy it. I just want to talk about my take on the series. I actually was going to make a video after I'd watched the series and do like an end of series sort of review, if you like. Um, but I just saw the series was just getting dragged on the internet, and it just seemed like a bit of an easy target, and I didn't really want to jump on the bandwagon and just pile on. Um, there's no positivity around this show at all. If you enjoyed it, fantastic. I'm really pleased that you enjoyed it. For me, though, I really didn't enjoy this. This was a really bad adaptation of the Resident Evil world, universe, whatever you want to call it. Resident Evil hasn't had great treatment over the years when it comes to live action. We've had some really bad Melina Djokovic movies, which I didn't like. We've also had Welcome to Raccoon City, rather, which was just a mishmash of Resident Evil 1 and 2 pushed together. And that felt very bloated, too much going on. And then we had this, and this was just like, what was. I mean, I remember watching it and thinking, what is this? This is Resident Evil. I really liked Lance Reddick. I really like him in Destiny. I love his voice. I liked him in Fringe. Thought he was great in Fringe. Liked him in Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn. Really enjoyed him in this. Think he's a great actor. And that was about it, really. I mean, I liked some of the CGI monsters and the gore. I liked how gory it was. But the rest of it, to me, was just so far away from what Resident Evil is to me. It was cheesy. There was cringe dialogue, Zoopla porn. There's the big bad woman at the end, and she's being controlled by the laptop, and she's doing that stupid dance in the song. That was just totally cringe. I thought the writing was bad. I didn't like this character at all. I didn't like the flashbacks. I didn't like the dual timelines. I didn't like how much of each episode seemed to be like, okay, now we're going to give you some zombies. Now we're going to give you some zombie dogs. Now we're going to give you some lickers. Now we're going to give you some spiders. Now we're going to give you a tyrant. Now we're going to give you a little nod to an alligator. Now there's going to be a mention of Ada Wong. Now, it was just sort of fan service for fan service sake. There's a giant caterpillar, which was, I just didn't like it at all. I really, really didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say I hated it because I've watched it all, but I really did have to force myself to watch the whole series. And it's been cancelled. Do you know what I mean? Netflix have got a track record for cancelling stuff, even things that are good. They've cancelled Mindhunter, which I was really enjoying. They've also cancelled Altered Carbon. Granted, season 2 was a bit wishy-washy. But it's hard to get invested in a series on Netflix because in the back of my mind, I'm always sort of like, well, I'm really enjoying this, but what if it gets cancelled? And there's that much stuff. There's just too many things to watch at the moment. You've got Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, and you've got Paramount Plus, HBO Max. All these services that are trying to get us to sit down and watch these things, and there's just too much stuff to watch. And the amount of stuff that it's almost like shovelware. They're just putting these series out and seeing what sticks. And I genuinely think that there'll be some sort of content crash. I think people will just get fed up with it all and just be like, I'm not watching this. People, because they're just producing. This cost 100 million, and they've cancelled it. I think it was the right decision to cancel it. I really, really didn't enjoy it at all. Like I said, I had to force myself to watch it. And at the end of it, when I watched it, I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And I genuinely think that's going to get cancelled. And then 43 days later, here we are. It's been cancelled. I've never advocated for the show's cancellation. I didn't enjoy it, but that doesn't mean that I think it should be ripped down and people shouldn't be able to watch it. If people were enjoying it, fine. But they must have cancelled it for a reason, and I think it was the backlash. Many people started to watch it and didn't finish it because it was that bad for them. And it's just a series that I just genuinely think it's the worst bit of TV, or definitely the worst series I've ever seen. It's there's different ways about putting criticism across. Lance Reddick, the guy who plays Wesker, he went to Twitter and made a video and said thank you to everyone and all the fans who watched it and appreciated what we were trying to do. But the haters and the trolls have won. And I don't think it's fair to say to anybody that didn't enjoy it that you're a hater and you're a troll, because you can't like everything. Everyone's got different tastes. I am seeing a pattern. And I don't like using the word woke, but these things, that these series, movies, video games that have all that are trying to push a political agenda and trying to weave in identity politics and all this sort of stuff. People are getting wise to it, or people don't like it, because every single time there's a sort of woke TV show, video game, or movie, it seems to just fail and fall flat on its ass. And I don't understand. There's different ways to have diversity and inclusion in pieces of, in films and video and video games and stuff like that. I just watched Prey, the latest Predator film. Great movie, strong female character in it. Wasn't blatantly obvious that they were trying to force a message down your throat. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, these are great female characters, strong female characters that were just good, well-written characters. But now you can sort of see these things, and I understand that they're trying to include everybody, and it's everyone should be included, but there's ways to do it where it doesn't feel as obvious and as forced, if you know what I mean. But the show's been cancelled. It's just one of them things. I didn't like the dual timeline where it was like cutting back to like a teen high school drama, and then it was going to the dystopian future, and I just didn't think it worked. Respect them for telling their own story, and respect them for trying to do their own thing and really, trying to create something different. But it didn't work. And it's, just been a waste of time and money for everybody, I think. I don't know what you can do with Resident Evil. I really don't know what you can do with a Resident Evil live adaptation. There was something on YouTube that came out ages ago of a series. I think it was going to be a YouTube series called Arklay, and it was set in Raccoon City, following a policeman, and he was investigating a murder in this episode, finding loads of little clues around this house. I think it was his brother had shot himself, and he'd been murdered, and it was linked to the Umbrella virus and all that. And at the end, he stands up after he's been shot, and it cuts to that, and it got cancelled. Nothing happened. So that was good. That was kind of like a cool adaptation. But yeah, I mean, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at 55%. Critics, 26% audience score. Netflix, 53, 1.4. And I genuinely think you should, anyone who didn't watch it and criticised it, you don't really have valid criticism, in my opinion. I think you had to at least watch a couple of episodes. And if you did, I wouldn't say you had to watch it all, but I watched it all, and it just didn't improve for me, and I really, really didn't like it. I think people who watched it and watched a few episodes and then said they turned it off, couldn't be bothered anymore, that's also an opinion. That says a lot about it even more, really. The fact that they couldn't continue watching it. And there was times where I was watching it, I was like, I really can't watch this. And I had to force myself, really had to push through and force myself to watch it. Resident Evil, I mean, I think we should maybe just stick to the video games. Live action video games and stuff like that doesn't really seem to work. We've got Halo. I've not watched any of it, but I've heard mixed, very bad things about it. Master Chief takes his helmet off in the first episode. He's having sex. The people that made it never played the video game. So I've heard that's bad. We've got the Last of Us series coming out soon, with Pedro Pascal and the little girl out of Game of Thrones. And yeah, we'll just have to see how that one goes. I mean, that could go either way because the Last of Us fan base is very toxic. But yeah, Resident Evil cancelled. Didn't really surprise me at all. I wasn't shocked by this news at all. I was shocked at how quick it had happened. I was shocked at how quick they cancelled it. It's 43 days and they've just axed it already. So that's a shame. I don't think it's a shame. I think it's a good call by Netflix, but it's a shame for anyone who was enjoying it. But the guy wanted to make 16 series. The guy he did the Supernatural movies series, and he wanted to do 16 series of Resident Evil, and he wanted to have returning legacy characters like Chris and Leon and have them all woven in. But I just think he didn't have a clue what he was doing with it, and it showed. And unfortunately, that's it. End of story. We're not going to get that back. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed it, if you watched it, if you just give it a miss. Also, I'd like to thank anyone who subscribed lately. I think I've had about 3 or 4 subscribers, and I've also got a few little likes on the last video. So little things like that keep me, spur me on to carry on doing this sort of thing. So I appreciate the support and anyone who's followed lately. But for now, we'll see you again on the next video. And as always, memento mori.